Some massive developments in the CM Punk drama. We're going to talk about it in today's video, and it's all coming up right here on TAS. All right, guys, I want to give you a big update to a WWE story we've talked about quite a bit. Ronda Rousey. What is going on with Ronda Rousey? Months ago, we talked about Ronda Rousey going to UFC. And then like weeks ago, we talked about Ronda Rousey not going to the UFC. Well, now a new interesting report actually came from the Daily Mail, and they have reported that a confidant of Ronda Rousey had told them that she is looking to wind down her time and commitments with WWE, and she is now focusing on returning to MMA. The story quotes their source stating that Rousey wants to compete at UFC 300 when that presents itself sometime next year. Now, keep in mind, I originally talked about this months ago, that it would make sense for Ronda Rousey to return at UFC 300. Now, the Daily Mail is pretty much confirming this, but now what's really interesting is that the source also noted that Ronda Rousey would like to have another child, and that while she wants to do a lot with her career, don't be caught off guard that she is having another kid, because that is something she feels is one of the most important things to happen for her again. There is also this belief that Ronda Rousey currently feels like she's at a crossroads within her life and in her career. And essentially what she wants to do more of is TV and movies. Hollywood is set to be a big focus for Ronda Rousey. Now, this is obviously great news for Ronda Rousey, but if you're a fan of Ronda Rousey in the WWE, it's pretty bad news for you, because we all saw what happened with Ronda Rousey losing to Shayna Baszler. And obviously Ronda Rousey at any point in time can come back to WWE, but it looks like she's actually closing the door on another WWE run. Now, I do want to point out, too, at one point, Dana White said that there was no chance of her coming back, which is really crazy to think that Dana White would even say that, because Ronda Rousey going back into UFC when Amanda Nunes is not there, it's a pretty big deal, right? She was a very big draw for the UFC. And when you look at the women's divisions across the UFC, they have some great fighters, but they don't really have somebody with the magnitude of buzz that Ronda Rousey has. Now, of course, in order for Ronda Rousey to be effective at UFC, if she were to return at UFC 300, I think really the most important thing would be that Ronda Rousey wins, because if Ronda Rousey loses in the UFC, there's no hype there. And if Dana White is 100% sincere in the sense that Ronda Rousey isn't going to compete at UFC 300, she won't come back to the UFC. There are tons of other promotions out there that exist in the world of MMA. If you follow MMA, there is something brewing between Bellator and PFL. There could be something massive with the PFL super fight division. Just saying, I wouldn't be shocked if Ronda Rousey found her way back into the squared circle. But of course, don't be more surprised if Ronda Rousey is in an MMA cage for another promotion. I want to turn our attention to Brian Pillman Jr. I felt like this was a very necessary update because I've had a lot of people ask me about this. We've talked about it several times that Brian Pillman Jr. was headed to the WWE. A lot of people have been wondering what the hell is going on with that. Well, now we finally have a massive update. According to PW Insider, the second generation star officially begins his WWE tenure this week. He's officially wrapped up all of his independent commitments. And the report also suggested that it might be a while until Pillman actually makes his debut on WWE NXT television. The current plan for WWE is to get him integrated into the WWE Performance Center, get him integrated into their system, give him some time to get his feet wet with how WWE conducts business. And then as of this time, it's unknown what their plans are for him in terms of gimmick, time of when he debuts, what name will he go by, what type of creative direction will he have. So obviously there is still not a lot that we know, but we know that he is starting this week. Now keep in mind, WWE has NXT tonight. I would love for WWE to acknowledge Brian Pillman Jr. in the crowd. It's something that they've done in the past whenever they had a new signing. I think that would be a tremendous move. You don't got to put him on TV, for a storyline or anything like that, but at least acknowledge that he's with you. Put him in the crowd, give him a lower third graphic, show that Brian Pillman Jr. is signed to NXT. Try to build some anticipation for him. just like WWE has done for so many others. I think it benefits a lot of people when it happens. And truth be told, NXT has something really cooking with this Heritage Cup tournament that they're doing. Feels like a G1 climax kind of thing. The same sort of structure. And I think that could be a really good thing to get Brian Pillman Jr. in that tournament, but they already announced them and it doesn't appear to be the case. But nonetheless, he's starting this week. Hopefully they acknowledge it on TV. I would like for them to make it a big deal. Brian Pillman Jr. left AEW just a few months ago, and now he is all entertainment. And our final story of the day, guys, CM Punk, more CM Punk drama. Sports Illustrated came out today, essentially confirming that CM Punk and Jack Perry were suspended. We talked about the suspension yesterday because of Brian Alvarez and all the other reports that came out yesterday. But now we have another report. And this one comes from Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select. And despite the reports of the suspension, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select has reported that CM Punk has not been informed that he is suspended. At this time, Jack Perry's knowledge of his AEW suspension is unknown. They have been told that as of now, CM Punk has not been informed of a suspension. So, in the dirt sheet business, you got Brian Alvarez saying one thing. You got PW Torch saying one thing. You got Wrestling House saying one thing. You got Sports Illustrated saying one thing. You have Fightful Select saying something else. I pointed out on Twitter, X, whatever, that there has been a variety of situations in AEW's history where there appears to be mixed reporting. And, it stemmed with, in the beginning of AEW, it had a lot to do with the EVPs and Tony Khan and who was running the creative, and Tony Khan taking creative control away from the EVPs. The second thing was the Cody Rhodes EVP drama, plus Cody Rhodes leaving AEW. And then there was mixed reporting, and that mixed reporting came from the Malachi Black situation, requesting his release. He had to go on Instagram, break character, talk about that. And then we saw the same thing with Andrade and Sammy Guevara. We're seeing it play out with Brawl Out. Now we're seeing it again with Brawl In. When I talk about mixed reporting, basically what I'm saying is there's a lot of people with a lot of different stories, and it makes things very complicated. And I think whoever's leaking this information to whichever source, whatever's going on there, I think ultimately what it's doing is it's just making AEW look bad. And whether that's intentional or not, I don't know. But I just think somebody is leaking out information that, one, probably shouldn't be leaked, but two, it's detrimental to the company. And CM Punk is holding the Real World Championship belt. I don't know what the hell AEW's plan is with that, but I like what they're doing with CM Punk on Collision. Has CM Punk not been informed of a suspension because he might go on Collision this week and drop the belt? I don't know. I don't know what the plan might be, but clearly there is something brewing, and the drama continues. I'll keep you guys updated along the way. I felt like that was a really important update, considering that yesterday we were talking about him being suspended. Now today there's talks that he hasn't been informed of a suspension, which would be really bad, by the way, for CM Punk to log on to X or Instagram or something to find out he's been suspended without any communication from the company. And in the past, there's been communication issues with AEW. So it's a really strange thing, but I'll let you guys decide for yourselves.